Here's the deal.
They're building.
Jared Goff still threw for 355 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Productive day.
So here's the deal. Detroit's defense, similar problem to before, is they can score the football. They can score and move the football on offense. The problem is they can't stop anybody on defense. Now here's where things get a little more hairy with the Packers beating the Dolphins, which I was happy about. With the Packers beating the Dolphins.
Ray, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. With the Packers beating the Dolphins, the path to the playoffs gets a little trickier for good old Detroit. So,
well, what is he? I'm trying to pull it up right here, right now.
So I know there are a couple games out. It's like
they got their work cut out for them.
It's hairy between like Detroit, Washington, New York, and I think the Packers to a certain extent. Yeah. But
Detroit.
Well, I think the Packers they
still got to play Detroit.
The Vikings.
Yeah.
Detroit this week.
Go ahead, man.
No, they have the Vikings this week, and then Detroit on the final game of the year.
Yes, Detroit has their next game is New Year's Day. They play the Bears on January 1st
at home. Or is it on the
road? Let me see here.
Because I want to say the Packers game's on the road.
Yeah, they play home. They play Chicago at home. They play the Bears at home on the 1st, and they play the Packers at the Packers on the 8th. So Detroit like if you look at statistically, they still have they're 7-8. They're going to need help though. Kind of like the Steelers. They're going to need help.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Washington, how did they do against the 49ers?
Who's that?
They lost.
Washington lost. I was assuming so. So, NFL doesn't update their playoff picture.
Mr. Brock Purdy had 3 more touchdown passes. I believe 2 of them were to George Kittle. And the crazy was Christian McCaffrey didn't have that great a game, which I thought he was going to have monster numbers after being snubbed from the Pro Bowl.
Right.
I still don't know how that happened.
How in the world doesn't he make the Pro Bowl though?
I don't know.
Seriously, think about that. How does McCaffrey not make the Pro Bowl? Well, I'll tell you what, the way Baker Mayfield's playing right now.
Baker for Pro Bowl.
Good. I'm not saying Pro Bowl necessarily, but I tell you what, dude, he's slinging that ball. And if he doesn't, I tell you what he's doing right now, too, in my humble opinion.
Played the Broncos.
No. You'd probably take him right now in the Broncos.
I was thinking about that too.
He's displaying, and I think he's displaying his skills for whoever picks him up next year if the Rams don't. I don't know if the Rams keep him or not, but I tell you what, he is throwing that ball awfully nice right now. And you think about this, you guys, and I know I'm bragging about him the past couple weeks, but what he did was remarkable. The guy hopped off an airplane and orchestrated a win, and they've been winning.
Yeah.
They've been winning.
So with going back to the playoff picture here, so the Lions are sitting at 7-8. They're tied for the 8th spot. They're 1 spot out with the Seahawks. They're tied. And the final playoff spot is held by the Washington Commanders currently. The Commanders have the Browns and the Cowboys to finish up the season.
The Browns and the Cowboys?
Browns and the Cowboys.
And that Cowboys game is going to be nice.
Yeah. So if the Redskins if the Commanders make the playoffs, does DP come out of the fan transfer portal?
That's interesting. I'm not sure.
You know what, DP, they hurt his feelings early. Like just like my Steelers did for me. All right. I think DP feels there's hope. Because the Commanders, dude, what's their record right now? Is there 7-8?
7-7-1.
7-7. They had that tie with the Giants. Yes, 7-7-1. Dude, statistically, they still have a shot to get in.
They do. Well, right, if the season ended today, they'd be in.
They'd be in.
The Seahawks, who are also 1 spot out, have the Jets and the Rams to finish up the season.
Who does?
The Seahawks.
I need the Seahawks to I need them to lose.
So we need the Seahawks to lose, and we need the Commanders to lose.
Earlier today, AD with your Steelers. Cubsker just mentioned it too. The Steelers with the Dubsky game-winning pick thrown with 32 seconds left and the pick landed on the 32-yard line. Franco was definitely there Saturday night.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of 32s going on.
Yeah, there was, man.
But I told you from the get-go, there's no way they're losing this game. Raff, I think I even texted you when they were behind, and I'm they're winning this game.
And so I'm at my brother-in-law's. We went to Christmas Eve service. Beautiful service, by the way, in Sumner, Nebraska. Beautiful Christmas Eve service. And it was beautiful also, too, because he got done at 6:45.
We're going into overtime.
I was like, praise God. That's a way to wrap it up. So they were singing this song, and I looked at AD, and Keenan came up next day, but he looked at AD. I was like, yes, well done, Pastor Ken. So we started watching the first half, which was just ridiculous. In Pittsburgh, not Three Rivers, but Artesian, whatever to call that stadium, is a hard place to kick anyway.
We're calling it Heinz Field.
Yeah, we're going to call it Heinz Field as far as I'm concerned. That's a hard place to kick anyway, let alone when it said the temperature feels like -6. So if he makes those 2 field goals, the last drive we're win anyway. Yeah. So we're pissed off the whole first half, okay? We're pissed off actually for the whole game, with the exception of a minute and a half left in the game when they got that, they orchestrated a drive, scored, and then I tell you what, Raiders quarterback Carr, Renfro was open. Renfro, if he throws that ball where he's supposed to throw it, Renfro is, I don't know if he scores, but he's sure as heck open. And our safety makes a pick. Me and Abe look at each other like, we can't believe we won this freaking game. On the 32, and I didn't even realize it was a 32-yard line where they did it at.
32 seconds left.
What pissed me off about the NFL Network is they cut during the ceremony to Franco Harris. And Twitter went absolutely ballistic. Yeah. Like, why would you not show him? I mean, we just couldn't understand it. Yeah. So we're sitting there listening to these knuckleheads, talking heads. I'm thinking, why wouldn't you show his induction? Yeah. So we were pissed off about that. But you know what? I'm surprised the Steelers got the game done. But here's real fast, because we're going to get right back on track here too.
Yeah, we need to get to break. Yep.
You know what? Let's go to break, and we'll come back to how Pittsburgh gets in, potentially Detroit still. And Raff, we got to talk to Broncos, man.
All right, I guess.
Take us.
All right. Well, send it a break. This is The Drive.